All right.
Camera 1 rolling. Camera 2 rolling. Michael Todoran, intro.
My name is Michael Todoran, and I am an artist. I'm a designer, and I'm a landscape architect. I'm here from Los Angeles, California. I went traveling at 19. I left here, I joined the Coast Guard. I did 2 years of heavy weather search and rescue in Oregon. And then after that, I worked on a buoy tender in Hawaii. Got to travel and surf every Hawaiian island and Samoa and Canton and all these crazy places. From there, I went to art school, used my GI Bill to get an art degree at UNLV, Las Vegas, Nevada. Lived in there for about 10 years. Felt really fulfilled as an artist, and from there I wanted to expand, so I decided to go to graduate school as a landscape architect. I moved to Ohio, got my degree there, and now my wife and I, we just had a baby, and we're back on the West Coast. We're in LA. Good to see old friends and hang out, and so making artwork and living the dream. I started taking pictures for fine art in art school, and we had this black and white photo, 101 class, the typical, where all the girls would take nudie pictures of themselves in the bathrooms and call it fine art. And our teacher was really cool. He was like this punk rock kid from San Francisco, and so we had, it was a manual camera, manual 35 Minolta. And I was always kind of on the lookout of like what I could shoot. And for my final, I went to a bar called the Double Down Saloon, and this band was playing FSP, and there was like this crazy pit. And so I was like, oh man, I gotta get this for my final. And so I went back home. I skated real fast back to my house, got my camera, put some like 3200 speed film in there because it was dark in this bar. I came back, I got my camera, I tied it around my wrist, and I just like jumped in the pit and was just like boom, and I would snap it and then like wind it, and then just like I'm just getting battered because I can't really defend myself because I got my camera, so I'm just like flowing with it and winding it, snapping it. I didn't know what I was gonna get. And then then I went to the developing room, and it was really cool because that was the beauty of photography for me, was being in the developing room and seeing them unfold. And the pictures just came out like I was immersed in, all of the shots that you see from pits are always aerials and always from the side. And now like I'm getting them from the inside. And then my punk rock teacher, he loved it. I mean, they were kind of shitty pictures, and they weren't like the perfect contrast and all that, but it was good that it was that way because it was real. And that's when I knew, as a photographer, it's okay to immerse yourself fully. And if I broke a leg or whatever, hey, so be it. It was all fun. When we look at the pool photos, and it's like, well, where did those start from? And when I was in the Coast Guard, this was like the pre-digital camera age, and I started taking pictures of water when I was in the Coast Guard. And in Oregon, we were doing heavy weather search and rescue, where we would have the safety belt, a full Mustang life jacket, a helmet, survival gear with flare, stuff on there, and we'd go into the surf and practice. And when we were doing our drills for training, I'd get a camera and we'd get our bow into the seas, and right before we head on into like a wave crashing into us, I would snap a picture and then duck and just like crash into it. And everyone else was like kind of like, what are you doing? I'm like, I gotta get the shot. And for me, it was just documenting. I wasn't even thinking about fine art. Little did I know that later on I would spend so much of my life taking pictures underwater and pool shots and stuff. So that was pretty cool how that played out. the pool series came out from me being in Las Vegas. And in Las Vegas, you know, I was there for 10 years and I was landlocked. I didn't have the ocean that I'm used to, you know. In Oregon, I was surfing a lot in Oregon, and then in Hawaii, I was surfing a lot, and then I grew up, you know, in Manhattan Beach and Venice Beach, and so I was always around water. And the photographs that I admired was the shots of the surfers through the wave, and I always thought they were really cool. And so one day in Vegas, you know, everyone hangs out at a pool, a swimming pool. It's so accessible. And I'm sitting there with my friends and we're having a good time. And I go under and I look up and I'm like, man, that looks really cool. That looks like one of those surf shots. And so, you know, I get some camera gear, I set it all up. I go down, I lay on my back and I shoot up. And then I get it developed and they just came out perfect because the lighting in the pool, and all the reflections, it's just, the lighting is so great that all the abstractions come out really well, and it's distorted and you get reflections. And after the first roll, I knew I was onto something. You know, I showed a couple people and I just kept rolling with it and kept shooting. And it's cool because now I could travel, and you know, if I go to the Wynn Hotel in Vegas, I'll do a shot there, or anywhere that I go where there's a pool, and it's so easy to set up, and yeah, and I just go for it. Well, it's cool because the way that people respond to the pool series varies a lot. For me, it's more, I mean, I guess there's an emotional attachment, just, you know, going back to my childhood and surf pictures and things like that. But to me, it's really mainly about aesthetics and cyans and things like that. But what's interesting is people come up to me when I'm at a gallery and they go, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I almost drowned, or my brother pushed me in the pool. And when I look at your images, that's what I feel. I feel like I'm drowning, and they have like this crazy visceral response to it. And sometimes I'll just hang back at a gallery, or I'll walk in and I'll see someone just looking at the same piece for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, man, you know what? You know, sometimes I'll ask them, but sometimes I just let them kind of do their thing. And I didn't know that people were going to respond that way to them.